Yeah, I don't know why you clicked on this unless you were either sent this or you realized that who is this video, because this person hasn't made videos in like years, months. I actually don't know. But other than that, hi. This is Shimo here. I usually just casually stream and do whatever on Twitch, but for now, I actually wanted to make a little video for fun because this is actually a really good Elsword event going on right now. For any older players that were kind of curious about what the state of the game or what it's like to play Elsword, or for any newcomers that were interested, this is probably the best event that you'll actually be able to join in for like a while. And the sooner you join in it, the less work you kind of have to worry about. And I'll be going over that in a bit. But basically, the events that we're gonna go over is this event right here. They gave a roadmap update on Elsword talking about what they're going to plan for the summer and stuff like that, but the main things that we care about here are the two on the right, which is the combat power boosting event and the plus 11 Abyss promotional event. Let's talk about the plus 11 because this is technically the first time they have given us a permanent plus 11 of the Submergence of Abyss, otherwise abbreviated as SOA. What this weapon is that this is the second highest raid weapon in the game, and they give it to you completely built to an insanely high degree. It's not like end game status finish, but it's way more than we expected in all honesty. Usually they like cheap out and give us like this dumb 50-50 of like, okay, half of it is like almost finished and then the other half is just kind of garbage. But as we can see here on the actual game, I'm actually using this right now. I know some of you guys probably can't read this, especially since the language that I'm speaking this in, so you know the community I'm directing this more towards. But basically how this weapon functions is that it gives you an identification of the second highest values of a majority of the things in here, of every single stat. The orange text that you see here is actually perfect status lines of the older stones, so not the newest stones for that kind of weapon, which is again way higher than everything else. This is a really strong, really good weapon, and imprints are second highest value from birth rate, but I'll go over that kind of stuff probably another time, or you can ask me on my own free time. But basically, this weapon is really good, and they give it to you for 60 days. With this 60 days, they plan on making you do an event quest line here, where if you do this enough, you actually get the weapon permanently. So this is the trial version, but wait, there's more kind of thing. You can basically earn this weapon permanently, and if you know how much plus 11s are, especially for like trying to like enhance one yourself or the RNG and stuff like that, it can cost a lot. So this is a really high value event that you can kind of do on a more casual kind of level to actually play and perform in the game. Granted, there are some kind of annoying tasks, but we can go over that. So let's go over what I would like to call the Elsword 60-day trial event. So as you can see here, we get the plus 11 SOA. How this event works is that if you saw what I was showing earlier, the unlocking of it, the top part of here is the quest that you need to do in general, while the bottom one are weekly quests that you can do, which is like do 150 skills, do 15 dungeons, clear 5 raid-based dungeons or something like that. I actually can't remember. I can't read. But other than that, this gives you 60 points weekly, while this entire quest line here, which is like do 150 dungeons, do each raid like 4 times, unlock certain titles, things like that. This quest right here, just to get it a little bit more in a written sense, I luckily actually preemptively wrote this out. You get 900 points from the main quest line, and you get 60 for the weekly quest. And this event is about 8 weeks or so. So technically you only really need to do the event like you only need to do the weekly like twice, or you can alleviate some of the stuff from the other things and just do the weeklies a bunch of times, because you get let's see, we said 8, so we get like 48 480 points worth, which then you're technically like 380 over the entire event needed. So you can technically, depending on how you want to plan it and stuff, you can do that. You don't really have to worry about it too much with it. I forgot that to show it, but this is basically what the math of it kind of looks like, is that you get, if you do 150 dungeons, it's 200 points. If you do the raids 4 times, that's 180. Unlocking titles is 350. 30 big boss dungeons is 170. And then that's basically how that works. Okay, so that's the biggest part of the event out of the way. The other part of the event that is really worth it, that I will go over, is right here. They plan on getting players to 10 mil combat power to get them caught up and start working on the latest dungeon, along with trying to get to the latest raid weapon. And based off my own combat power here, you can see that I have hit it. Now you might see a bunch of clocks here, because yes, all of this is timed for 60 days, thus the Elsword 60-day trial. But all of these are really strong, really good to actually get you started up to eventually work on your own, minus the ice burners. The ice burners are quite costly to try and get into and stuff like that. I don't really have a real proper method or like will say about this, but some of the accessories are actually earnable. Like for example, the epic point accessories, which you can get from anywhere or put on any slot, can really fill up a lot of your stats and stuff like that. So you can do that. You can technically earn temporary accessories with ED through the epic point shop if you're newer or don't know exactly what's going on with the game. You can technically earn temporary 7 days of accessories that are really strong to use. Like for example, skill rings, you usually have to buy them. Now you can technically spend 1 mil for 7 days of a ring, which is a great free-to-play way, or if you just want to try out the game and stuff like that. Like you don't have to spend or anything to really properly play in this game anymore. But the quest line is fairly simple. They just want you to kind of try and do dungeons and raids at a single time. And if you may think like, man, I can't really do some of these contents because I can't afford friends, like me, myself. But as you can see here, I've actually gotten pretty far in the event without having to party a single time. And I even had to do raids. And that's because an older system was reworked in the game, where if you've ever played the raids or stuff like that, they actually added a content in it called solo raids. What solo raids are is that it's a content that you can easily play the raid solely without having to look for others or like manage with like certain people with planning and stuff. It's a very nice add-on for players that have a hard time either looking for others because of their own schedules or like some other like ambiguous kind of reason that we can say like, I don't feel like looking for people. Pretty much what this does is that it gives you a buff upon entering, depending on what character you play, either a damage or a mana buff, and then you progressively get stronger in the raid the longer you're in there. So as long as you can survive, you understand the mechanics, you will clear eventually, which is exactly what I did. And the event makes you relatively strong enough to actually do it, I would say, in a reasonable time. Like, I was planning these raids throughout the entire week, and this Abyss raid right here, which is the raid that we get said weapon, the plus 11 weapon. The soloing this raid part alone took me 10 minutes. The other ones, the other phases of one of these take me like, I would say like 6 to 7 minutes each, and I play supportive based character, so I get a damage buff. It's not as bad as you think. So if you want to like kind of pace yourself while playing the game and just want to try it out instead of just like grinding it out like a typical MMO, I personally would recommend pacing yourself throughout this event and just trying it out if you are interested in said game. It's a really great way of starting off. Pretty much what they give you in this event, with getting the 10 mil combat power, is that they give you a full plus 10 Reforge 21. If you don't know what reforging is, you can think of it as an in-game way of another way of enhancing, but using materials earned up in dungeons, along with some other technical, usually cash shopped items to finish it up. So, but they give you this at plus 10 and completely finish out this set. You do have to identify the pieces itself, and we'll have to, but they do give you items to fix the identification a little bit, so therefore you can tune it to what you would want to do. So I made mine into a damage set and made mine relatively strong. Not only that, but they also give you artifacts that also choose you like the color and stuff, so therefore you don't have to fully try and farm up your artifact stages and things like that. They give you a lot of stuff to just speed it up. They even give Harconiums, which are attachments onto the armors. You can think of it similar to like a more unique kind of socket stone onto the pieces. But yeah, they give you basically 60 day of all this stuff. I have 60 day titles of all of these to try and progress through, help me farm up or get stronger. I'm going to be using this to actually try out the more later dungeons if I actually have the power to enter, which was the plan from this. But yeah, that's basically the event. You just follow the dungeons and you just get stronger, and they give you a bunch of stuff. They give you a bunch of potions, they give you a bunch of upgradables for your characters and stuff like that. And that's basically the gist of the event. It's 60 days of, if you're interested in the game again or you're curious, try it out. If you do want to play the game, though, I highly recommend participating in this event. But yeah, other than that, that's basically it. I don't know if I forgot anything, but if someone wants to nitpick, they can just technically just nitpick in the comments and then say you forgot this or what about this, and I can try and answer as best as I can. I don't make videos, I just ramble. But yeah. You can tell I don't really make videos. But other than that, that's basically it for this. I will be definitely doing this on NA. And I'm just kind of repeating myself. I'll probably just stop it somewhere in the middle of that kind of rambling. Or I can just continue it and just randomly cut